talk about that.
Okay,
How's
perfect.
that?
Excellent.
Perfect.
I don't remember what I just said, but that's it.
But we do that all the time. Kim will tell me something brilliant, I go, can you tell that again? No.
Oh God, I'm like, wait, what was the point that I was
Going
gonna share
on.
with you guys? Wait, no, it's like, you know, like you.
Something about,
You look
I
forward to
forgot
going
already
to that
what you
particular
said too.
restaurant because
It's a
you know,
designation.
It's a
It's
destination, so it's like.
institution.
Okay, here we go, you ready?
We're ready.
Oh my God. Oh, this one. Make sure your phones are on off for silent. Welcome to the show, everyone, and happy Friday. We're live on Facebook, so I want to say hi to everybody out there. I'm excited about bringing on my guests. I have a lot of people that are probably listening that are in their cars, that are driving to a restaurant, thinking about where they're going to go tonight and or over the weekend. Right now, I have with me Tom Duhigg and Kevin Trumbull, and they're the owners of Rise from the Ashes Consulting. You've been on the show many times now, and we're going to talk a bit about what you do, but we also have a special little guest here that was happened to be here early because she's going to be coming on the show
That's awesome.
a little bit later, Susan Pintel, and you started just asking questions, which is what you did to me, and all of a sudden Susan started to tell you a little about her feelings about restaurants today. It's not like it was
Yes.
years ago, but now today it's pretty bad. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead and
Okay,
talk.
well, so I got an email, actually a question from LinkedIn. They saw the show.
Thank you.
And a lot of people question the 90 to 120 days. You know, we say 90 days. She says, well, you said 90 to 120 days. So she asked me a question, which was a really good question. She says, I was looking at your background and et cetera, but she says, what actually caught my attention was your line about turning businesses from losing money to profitability in 90 to 120 days. That made me genuinely curious because most people make business growth sound much more complicated than that, right?
And you know what? Not only do you say it, you do it.
Yeah.
So then she went on, she said, so I want to ask you something, great question. When a restaurant or business is struggling, what do you usually find is the real problem first? Is it usually operations, leadership, staffing, or do most owners simply not understand their numbers as well as they think they do?
Okay, and what did you ask me today?
Well, so obviously if a business is slow or they're underperforming, it's going to be in the operations. It's going to
Absolutely.
be how they execute. Now, all these things are related, right? But you know, you go into a restaurant and so, Carol, you walk into a restaurant. What is your minimum expectations of cleanliness? Disheveled or well, minimum?
For me?
Yeah.
Pristine.
Pristine. What about the food? Could the food just be bland and tasteless? What's your minimum expectation?
Knowing that I'm probably spending $120 more than I should, then it's gotta taste, no matter what, it's gotta be good. You've gotta go, wow, this was so good, no matter what.
Exactly. And then what about the service? They just take your order and drop off the food?
Hate
Is that okay?
Hate that. They need to be there on
Yes.
top of me,
Yes.
ask me how I'm doing, what do I need, anything.
So we call that the minimum expectation is super high.
Absolutely.
The minimum is. And then what we say is once you meet that minimum, then you try to exceed. But you can't exceed until that minimum is met, right? And then we started talking about restaurant experiences, about just how they don't even meet minimum expectations. And so the big thing here is how do you get to that point? And then Susan was talking about, you kind of tell us about your California experience and then your restaurant experience.
Bring it
here.
right in front of
Come
me.
right in, Susan.
I couldn't help interjecting myself because I'm a foodie, and so I grew up in Southern California, and it was not at all unusual for me to basically drive 2.5 hours to go get amazing dim sum that was like a family-owned restaurant. And you know, being the only Caucasian person in this restaurant was kind of, at first they were kind of worried that I had lost my way and just entered by accident, but you know, my friends showed up and they were Vietnamese, and so we all had a blast because we would go to Chinese restaurants for dim sum, and then we would go to Vietnamese restaurants, and we would go to Korean restaurants, and I would take them to Mexican restaurants. And the commonality that I was explaining to these guys was that, you know, after a while, the food is so unique and it's so sensational and it's so you know, it blows you away because it's real. But that's just like the beginning. What I really miss here is that, you know, after I've gone in a couple of times, I'm not saying hi, you need to like shake my hand and, you know, thank me for coming in, but just say hi, you know, and I want to be like greeted genuinely like, hi, it's so good to see you again because you were here last month.
Absolutely.
And
And those
that
are your
built,
minimum
love when they do
expectations,
that.
Absolutely.
minimum.
and I love it when that happens because then over years, because I really do stick with a restaurant for years, I'm like, hey, how was your daughter's graduation? And I
Bingo.
ask the servers and they ask me, hey, how is your mom doing?
Mhm.
And you build this amazing rapport and it's an experience. It
Mhm.
really is like not just a food, not just a restaurant, it's an experience and it's a destination. And I really wish that we had more of that here.
Oh, God, yes.
And one of the things that I like that she said, Carol, is that she says she drove out of her way to go to specific restaurants.
Right, now she went 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours
That's
to
pretty
one
amazing.
restaurant,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, but that was really at a huge experience. Now,
Yes.
I also said that I too, for Mother's Day, they asked me where do I want to go, and I went to a restaurant that was about 25, 30
Mm-hmm.
miles away, and in a total different direction than where I even live. And you know what? I was thrilled to be there.
Yes.
Because not only
Mhm.
was it hopping, which I also like when it's busy in there and I'm not the only one, but they served it hot and it was, the service was wonderful because they were also very nice and genuine. We even said to, like, that guy was really nice, and that's what you want,
Yes.
and it's not just because we're spending a lot of money on it. That should be a given no matter what.
Right. Exactly, it is the operations, it starts with there, and as soon as it was perfect, I want an experience, not just great food.
Right.
Right.
So, when business owners, restaurant owners, look at your operations, look, are you doing that? Because that is a minimum expectation.
And a lot of these restaurants are so scared of the big restaurants, the restaurant
Mhm.
chains that are coming in. So these independents are saying, I just don't stand a chance. Yes, you do.
You do.
Absolutely.
And we'll
I think
show
you have
you,
better
we'll
chance.
show you in 90 days how to do this.
Right.
But you've got to call us. We'll help, because you can become the destination that somebody like Carol is
Right.
driving 25 miles, passing up all these big box chains
I
and
can-
going to one that you like and willing to pay a little more because you're getting the experience. Susan's getting the experience.
Exactly right. That's what you're looking
I
for.
don't know about anybody else sitting here right now. I actually like the mom and pop
Yes.
Yeah.
I do too.
restaurants
Yes.
much
Yes,
better.
I prefer them.
For
Yes.
sure, me too. Now, when they call you, they call 520-907-8409. 90-day turnaround we're talking about here, folks. And a lot of you guys out there are suffering, and they don't want you to suffer. They can help you. You also have
Yes.
an incredible background of what you've done
Mhm.
and turning around restaurants, and so you can talk to them about that. They work statewide. Their website is risefromtheashesconsulting.com. Complimentary consultations, and we say too that what you do works for both restaurants and businesses. We always say that, but you like to focus on those restaurants because
Yes.
that's where you're near and dear. That's
Well,
near and dear to
they're
your heart.
closing 15 a month,
Oh yeah.
and we can, hopefully we can prevent some of that.
And 42% are not even making money. They're barely breaking even.
Right.
Right,
So-
almost half don't make any money. And where do we start? Our frustration to freedom is, what's your experience? What is your customer experiencing? That's where we start. Everything we're talking about is we go in there, if that's not right, we gotta fix that
So
first.
wait a minute, before we go to a break, I gotta ask you something, because a lot of people are saying, well, if that's where you start, that's easy, I can do that.
Sure.
Right? But so many people don't anyway, so tell them why call you.
Well, because when we go through their diagnostic, right, and we'll talk about part of that today, is we give a really clear picture of what their problems are. We're gonna get into why they have operational problems. It's not just, it's not that they're not aware of it, but there are other factors that are affecting their operations. They're not staffed, right? They have the wrong ingredients. They're just all these other things. They're even worried about, I'm worried about tariffs, I'm worried about the economy. No, it's nothing to do with that. Let's look at internal before we look at the external. So we get them focusing on the right stuff first.
Well, you can call them, whether it's you or you know somebody that's suffering, we want to help them. They can turn around restaurants, especially a 90-day turnaround. It's awesome. They work statewide. Their phone number is 520-907-8409. It's risefromtheashesconsulting.com. Let's save them.
Well, you're not going anywhere yet.
Oh,
We're still on.
oh,
Well, let her play if you want, it's up to you.
I can see her,
You
but this
stay
is
right
your.
We got a couple
Oh,
minutes.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we're still going.
Okay, cool. No,
Well,
no,
we're
no.
also live on
We're
Facebook.
live.
Yes, we're
so
live
might
on
as well.
Facebook.
Oh, I didn't want to disappear. I wasn't going anywhere, but I'm so impressed.
Well, that's a great
that
observation,
was
Susan. I'm
great.
so glad. I mean, I wasn't.
And interject your own personal
If-
stuff
if you
anytime.
could- No, but seriously, if you could get more restaurants here to understand that, like, you're
Have
looking
fun
for
levels okay
people like
all around?
us
We're
who
fine, they're not
will
arguing, so
be
it's fine.
there years.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
weeks, not just months, but
That's a great
years.
point right there. We're
Years.
trying to build the loyalty.
I
Yes.
will, yeah, I will
Yes, that's a great
drive, I mean,
point.
I know this is
Perfect.
not Southern California, we're not,
Exactly.
I'm not
It's all about
expecting somebody to drive
loyalty,
2.5
too.
hours, but, you know, like 25 miles away from where you normally go. I live in, you know, in an area where I would expect that we'd have more restaurants, and we don't, and there are lots of, and I don't have anything against chains, but that's not what I want.
That's not what
That's
you want.
right.
And it's like,
Perfect.
why are people looking
Perfect.
for more
She's absolutely
opportunities to
right.
have very unique, like, standalone restaurants? Because we want them.
Yeah. This
But
is
but
coming
that's
from a
such
customer
huge point.
aspect. I love
Right.
this.
She
Yeah,
brings
this
a
is
huge
great.
point. It's not just the food.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not.
I have
it's
great
not-
food, right? I'm opening a restaurant because I got a great recipe.
You know,
That's
the
one of
other
things.
thing is
It's
too,
not enough.
for me, I don't mind paying more
Yeah.
if it's good.
Yeah.
If it's good.
Yeah.
When I go there, and like I told you, my dad goes, "This is lousy."
Yes.
And it, you know
That's
what?
expensive.
Yeah.
Now
That's
it's
lousy, it's
expensive, now it's
expensive.
even expensive, and
Mhm.
Yeah,
I've
it's just
heard
such a
even
waste.
people going through fast foods that are,
Yep.
so, but I don't wanna talk about them.
No,
No.
let's focus on the independents that are wanna,
yeah.
Right.
wanna grow, wanna
But
become
they
something.
had a
to-
mission, they had something in their heart that they wanted to bring to the valley, right?
Mhm.
And then they open up and they're waiting. They're waiting for people to come in, and then the people that come in, they're not coming back. Why are they not
Exactly
coming
right.
back?
Right, they get disheartened.
Well,
Yes.
there's,
Well, they can't, how much can they pay for the restaurant if no one's coming
right,
back?
they're failure.
Yeah,
But
and
I-
it's just they go to the digital graveyard and they try and fix one little problem, and I think Tom's
We're
gonna
gonna
talk
talk about,
about
yeah,
this.
the whack-a-mole.
The whack-a-moles,
Yeah.
you know, they're trying to put out this fire, that fire, they're whacking the moles. And they're trying to figure out, what do I do? And they're focused on one thing, but they're missing the whole other point of the
Right.
operations, where you can swoop in 90 days and pull out the incongruencies that we talked about before,
Yep.
put in the congruent, and then here we go. We're in a trajectory of going up, and then now you're not losing your business, you're not worried about being locked out, you know? So there's a lot that we can do.
Well, thanks, Susan.
Thank you, guys.
That's
Really.
amazing.
I love talking about restaurants. I'm in the wrong industry. I should be in your industry.
Yeah.
So welcome back, everyone. So how many people out there that are listening are, have a favorite restaurant that you know that you went to and all of a sudden they're now gone because you noticed that
Mhm.
things were getting a little bit worse and worse and worse as the days went by that you went there? And also, how many people out there own a restaurant that tonight they're getting ready, you know, you're running around getting ready to open and you're almost dreading it because you know the outcome,
Mhm.
right? Tom, please, really quickly, just tell them why you, and then also what you can do for them today that you want to talk about.
Well, yeah, so a great topic. Your restaurant is not just food, it's service, it's experience, it's ambiance, it's connection, right?
Yes.
And that, so how long would you go to a restaurant? You talk about your loyalty.
Oh
Ms.
my,
Helen?
oh my
Go ahead.
God, I frequent the same restaurants for years, for decades. I mean, I still go back, when I go back out of town to certain locations, that's where I go, and I want that here, you know, because,
Right.
like I said, it's not a joke. I don't want you to like fawn over me, but it's really nice when you recognize that I've been to your restaurant multiple times, and I even go to a restaurant here where like the waitress, when she sees me on the list, she'll have me move to her section of the restaurant because she knows that I'm gonna make it a pleasant experience for
Right.
her.
Mhm.
And believe it or not, that sounds crazy, but
Mhm.
it builds, because then I'm like, hey, you know what do you recommend for dinner tonight? And she'll be like, hey, can I be honest with you? I'm like, no, lie to me. No, of course be honest with me. And she will steer me in the right direction, and that's where I recommend my friends go there, because you're gonna get say it with me, amazing experience.
Amazing
experience.
That's what I
Right.
want,
Right.
that's what
That's
more
what
people
it's
want.
about.
And the loyalty, so Kevin, we actually did the
Yeah.
math. So Kevin was going to the restaurant for how many years?
20 years.
20 years,
Yeah.
and they treated him like garbage one day. And
Just
so,
one day.
One day.
That one experience.
And we figured out
right.
how much money did you spend in that restaurant over? Remember the
Do I
math?
have to admit this on
Yes,
air?
you have to admit it on
About
air.
$60,000
Wow.
over a 20-year period.
$60,000
Wow.
is in jeopardy
Jesus.
for that business.
Yeah, a lot of the restaurants, Carol, are looking at the one-time experience
Yep.
or the one-time customer. And I'm gonna fix that through
Yep.
marketing or social media, and I'm gonna keep replacing that customer. If you can get a customer to the point like Susan,
Yeah.
and you're an institute, you've become a standard where she likes the food, and you can get her 4 or 5 times in that restaurant, and you treat her the same every single time, guess what? She's gonna come back, but not by herself, she's gonna come back
Right.
with friends.
And tell
But-
people about it.
And tell people.
That's what it's all about.
And word of mouth
Yes.
is still the best.
It's
It is.
awesome.
Absolutely
Especially
the best.
when it
That's why
comes
this
to
show
something-
works.
But also, but that, especially when you go to a restaurant like that,
Yes.
you know, and I think that's what's important is that when we talk about social media and all of that, now your reviews are so
Mhm.
important.
Yep.
And I bet you anything, not that you would want to do that, I hate to have to do that when it happens, but you know, you may not wanna put a very good review, which is very bad for any business, any restaurant, whatever it is. And you should have a lot of good
Mhm.
reviews, and a lot of people don't anymore.
And a lot of times, people will find 3, 4, maybe 5 restaurants that becomes a staple in their diet.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna go to those 4 or 5 restaurants. You wanna be one of those restaurants on their list, cause that might make the difference on your bottom line to be a couple $1,000s per year for that one customer that sits
Oh,
there for
absolutely.
20 minutes, maybe once a week.
Oh,
And what
yeah.
happens when the economy goes bad, and for them, they don't stop going out.
Yeah.
They take the 5 and make it 2
And they make
or
it
3.
2, and so if you're the one that
You wanna be one of those.
stands, you wanna be the one that
Sticks
stands,
out.
sticks out, absolutely, and then that's how you become an institution,
Right.
and that's how you become
Immune.
recession-proof.
Right. Recession-proof.
And it doesn't matter, we're not, when you say institution, you could still be a mom and pop,
Absolutely.
Designation. Yep.
Exactly.
So we have
Go
three,
ahead.
we have 3 different ways to talk. You wanna be the go-to place.
Yeah.
Hey, where's a good Mexican place? We go here.
Yeah.
You're the go-to place, and that's usually close, right? You wanna be the designation, means I'll drive 20 minutes, I'll drive 2 hours.
Mhm.
That's a designation. Then you want to be the institution. When you're in Buckeye, you need to eat at this place. When you're in Phoenix, oh, you got to eat here.
Yeah.
When you're in Goodyear, oh, you need to eat. And these are people from out of town
You
getting
know,
this kind of
people,
recommendations.
people are foodies today, a lot of them, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I know, like my ex-husband, he loves food.
Mhm.
And so he's always saying, oh, there's a new restaurant, we gotta try that. And when he tries it, he's always telling other people
Sure.
about
Yes.
it. That's what it's all about. Go ahead.
Well, we help people go from where they're at right now to become the go-to place, the designation, and eventually an institution.
Yeah,
In
'cause-
90-day turnaround.
and you know what, I'm just gonna share with you, because I'm at that age where I can tell you that I've been frequenting certain restaurants for 20 years, like
Mhm.
once a month, if
Yes.
not more.
How much did you spend? Do you ever calculate how
Oh,
much you
well,
spent?
well, that's why when this gentleman right here said 60,000, I was like, thank God I'm not the only one. Because people looked at me kind of like, really? And I'm like, you
But
don't?
Susan, you're a lawyer, you can
Well,
afford it,
well,
I
yeah,
can't.
well,
You're taking us
How
all
many
out.
times
Okay,
people,
let's do
wait a
it.
minute,
Let's
you
do
go
it.
to the market, you go and you buy everything, you get it back in, you're all this, and you go look at the refrigerator, there's nothing to eat, let's
Right.
go out.
Let's
That's
go.
right.
Here's the
Let's go.
difference, going back to Susan's point. I don't look at Susan as a customer that comes and spends $80, right? I look at somebody that spends $60,000 in my
Right.
business. How am I gonna treat her different?
And a lot of,
Right? How am I gonna treat her? If there's a mistake, remember last show, if there's a mistake, I'm gonna roll out the red carpet because
But
it's $60,000.
how
You
many
don't
of
wanna
our,
lose that.
how many of our independent restaurants are actually, how many of the independent restaurants are actually looking at it in that aspect?
don't.
No.
They're not, they're looking at the one-time meal. Okay, I got this, I'm not losing any money, okay, next.
Mhm.
You can't think of next, you've gotta build a fence, build a
Relationship.
cage. Build that loyalty with that one customer at a time,
Right.
until it builds and
And if
builds and
Susan
builds.
quits going, do they know?
Yeah, actually they do.
Okay, that's
No,
key.
they do,
They
because.
know you got.
Because
Mhm.
that's why I'm saying, the kind of restaurants that I go to, again, without like being too crazy, you know, they'll be, hey, we missed you because where were you last
Beautiful.
month? You know, like,
Right.
oh, well,
That's
hey,
what we're
you
talking
know,
about.
I got under the weather, blah, 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 but they notice, and it's
Mhm.
real, and that's why I keep going there, because
Right.
it's genuine.
Mhm.
So that's exactly, you should
We
be one
gotta
of those
compare
places.
where you go to compare to where I go.
That is perfect,
Yeah.
exactly what we're doing
Yeah.
for people.
So go ahead.
So another thing that, I talk about exceeding expectations, so Kevin has a pool business, right?
Mhm.
Do you clean pools?
No.
So what do you do to exceed expectations?
We give them a total experience. It's their backyard, and they go there, especially as the economy gets bad or whatever, where are they gonna go for their paradise? It's out back. So we have welcome letters, we give away beach balls, we go above and beyond when we're actually servicing the pool. From blowing off the deck and
Yeah.
equipment to
That's
make sure
awesome.
it's a total different
You
experience.
leave
So
blankets and,
yeah, water
and
bottles.
some sunglasses.
They have a philosophy, you leave it better than you found it.
Yeah, we
You
absolutely leave it better
you
than
found
we found it. yeah.
That's awesome.
And here's the thing that I'd like to bring up right now, that would be a perfect time, is these restaurant owners that are listening, you hear Susan's experience, you've heard mine, you've heard Carol's, how we go into these restaurants and you either go to it because you know what you're gonna get, or you don't go to it because you know what you're gonna get. So if you keep doing what you've always done, you're always gonna get what you've always gotten.
Mhm.
And so if you don't make the change
Yeah.
and figure out where you're at, as Susan Powell used to say, if you don't stop the
Mhm.
insanity and figure out where you're at, where you wanna be, find customers
Yes.
like Susan,
Exactly.
find customers like Carol, and start pampering them,
Yes.
so to speak, but exceeding the expectations, then you become an institute, then
Right.
you become the
Exactly.
destination.
Everybody, you want Susans.
Yes.
Yes.
You want as many Susans as you can get.
'Cause
Every month, a new one, I got a new one, I got a new Susan, a new Susan.
So
That's how
Susan's
you
phone
build your
number
business.
is.
But that's perfect, that's what we're
We
doing.
only have a couple of
Great
minutes, I know you
restaurants.
wanna get some other stuff out. They're statewide. Their phone number is 520-907-8409. The website is risefromtheashesconsulting.com. They do complimentary consultations, 90-day turnaround.
Yes.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, so, yeah, this is a perfect show. I couldn't have had a better guest,
Yes.
unplanned
Yeah.
guest here.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we help people do. We help you get Susans that are loyal for you for 20, 30 years, and Kevin, 30 years loyalty, spending $60,000 in your restaurant. Not spending $10, not spending 50, but spending over the lifetime. And we have it's a real big aha for customers and for our owners. We flip the script. We say, you know, most people will get a customer to make a sale, right? We make a sale to get a customer.
Sure,
And the
right,
customer
yeah.
is long-term,
Do
not
you
just a
wanna
one-time
talk
transaction.
about your, what you had down here? That was, I don't remember the piece
The
of paper.
diagnostics.
The
Yeah, so we
diagnostic.
start
Real
with,
quick.
we start with diagnostic with people, because, you know, it's operations, but it's staffing, it's all things, right? When it's crashing, it's not just one thing. We start with the operations, but then in the diagnostic, we ask them, because I don't know, we ask them specific questions. Why? You know, why are you having staffing issues? Why are your operations not good? Why are you not making money? And in there, they have to really tell us, honestly.
You wanna know why you're not making money? Because you're not calling them.
Yes.
And
That's the best
really
reason.
that is the number one reason, because you need to have the direction
Mhm.
of them that have they've been in your shoes.
Yes.
You know, they've also turned around many other restaurants that they can talk to you about their
Yes.
proven results. 90-day turnaround. Maybe it's you or someone that you know. Let's tell them about it, because we want some great restaurants here. The number to
We
call
do.
is 520-907-8409. Check them out. It's risefromtheashesconsulting.com.
Thank you so
This
much.
was such a delight. Oh
Thank
my
you
God.
You
so
made it
much.
so
Oh my
fun,
God.
Susan.
Wow.
Thank you.
This was like wonderfully
Thank you.
So
serendipitous.
awesome.
This is
We didn't get to our
kismet.
stuff, but you know what?
I'm so